The McLaren F1 was launched in 1992 and revolutionized the supercar industry more than any other vehicle since the automobile was invented. It was not only the first production car to use a carbon fiber monocoque chassis, but also the first to bring high-tech and expensive materials such as titanium, magnesium, Kevlar, and gold under the same roof. It also had an impressive drag coefficient of only 0.32, a smart interior made of lightweight materials, luggage compartments implemented in each rear fender, and a 3-seat configuration with the driver placed in the middle, just like in a Formula One car. Developed and built by Gordon Murray, arguably the best design since Colin Chapman, the F1 also spawned a successful race car that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans at its first attempt, as well as a number of limited edition models that went on to become some of the rarest and most expensive cars launched in 1990s. One of them is the F1 LM, a supercar McLaren built to celebrate its Le Mans victory in 1995. The LM was limited to only 5 examples, the exact number of F1 GTRs that finished the race. Arguably the quickest and most powerful road car at the time of its introduction, the LM went on to become the most expensive road-going McLaren and a highly sought-after collectible. Exterior McLaren described the F1 LM as an untamed Le Mans race car with number plates. This statement was by no means an exaggeration, as the LM's exterior was almost identical to that of the GTR race car. The body kit was almost entirely sourced from the GTR, including the big rear wing, rear diffuser, roof scoop, and vented front fenders. Interior: the LM's cockpit borrowed the GTR lightweight and race spec design, but some features were modified for slightly increased comfort. While the center-mounted driver seat was made from carbon fiber just like the race car, McLaren added the 2 passenger seats offered in the standard F1. McLaren said it originally wanted the LM to have just the central seat, but then realized that owners would want to share the experience with friends. Drivetrain: the F1 LM received the same engine as the F1 GTR, but without the race-mandated restrictors. The unit was pretty much the same as the one in the F1, but tuned to deliver mode power. Using a compression ratio of 11.01, the 6.1-liter V12 in the LM produced 680 horsepower at 7,800 RPM and a peak torque of 520 pound-feet at 4,500 RPM. That was 80 horsepower more than the fuel-restricted GTR and 53 horses more than a standard F1. Prices: although McLaren never divulged the official price of the F1 LM, owner had to pay significantly more than a regular F1, which sold for around $1 million. Given the extremely limited run, pricing was probably set anywhere between $1.50 and $2 million. Only 5 units were built, 3 of which were shipped to the Sultan of Brunei. A 6th chassis exists as the XB1 LM, the prototype used to modify the F1 into the F1 LM. Also painted papaya orange like most LMS, is retained by McLaren at its factory in Woking. Reportedly worth more than $5 million, this car was promised by McLaren CEO Ron Dennis to race driver Lewis Hamilton if he should win 2 Formula One World Championship titles. However, Hamilton left McLaren with just 1 World Championship title to drive for Mercedes in 2013. 2 decades since its introduction, the LM is one of the most valuable F1 ever created. In 2015, one of the 5 existing models was sold at a Sotheby's auction event at Pebble Beach for a whopping $13.75 million. For a car built in 1998 that was only 17 years old at the time of the auction, that's a whole lot of cash.